And as a school, we'll have 5 companies. And as we get to 5 campuses, we'll have 5 campuses doing this simultaneously. So, and the support, I'll talk about support. Go ahead.
How are the companies chosen to help work with?
We choose the companies in a way that they actually collaborate with us. It's very important that the partners we find recognize that we are offering them 5 student teams of well-trained MBA students. So we are actually offering them 5 consulting teams. This is a value of about $250,000 perhaps if you were to hire McKinsey or BCG. So these 5 student teams are providing value. The companies need to recognize that that's the value they're receiving. And so these companies have to commit that they will provide a senior executive. They'll provide 4 meetings through the whole program of 1 day long. So 4 days of a senior executive and his team will be made available to our student teams. They have to commit to that. They have to commit that on the final meeting will be held in the boardroom of the client. So our students will come well dressed in their jackets and ties and go to the boardroom of BAE Systems, of Philips Healthcare. And they'll sit there in the boardroom and present to an executive team what their business proposition is. If they can't commit to that, then they're not good companies to work with for us. Because we want our students to say, we work for the world's best companies, we work for the most senior person, we work on the most challenging problem, and we gave them a solution that they were willing to take action on. It wasn't just a mental exercise. Something that they take action on. Okay. Just as an example, we got examples. In Boston, we did those particular companies which I already mentioned. In Dubai last year, similarly as we are going to do in London. In Dubai, we had Emirates Bank, which is the world's biggest Islamic bank, or the biggest bank in the Middle East. And we worked with the chief strategy officer. In Dubai World, which is what we heard about the last 3-4 months, all the shaking up of the world economy, we worked with Dubai World, the chief strategy officer, in the business of Dubai trade. And he was a chief strategy officer, chief innovation officer. Axiom is and just so you know, Dubai World is the 4th biggest seaport in the world. It's not a small organization either, it's the biggest organization there. Axiom is the biggest telephone distributor in Dubai. And we work with the CEO and the chief HR director. And this was Faisal Banani at Axiom. At DME, Dubai Mercantile Exchange, is the emergence of a stock market and exchange. And this was basically working with chief strategy officer, a team of McKinsey people. And then Al Rastamani, which is one of the biggest family conglomerates in the Middle East. And we help them think through the cables and wiring strategies. We are not working with number 2s at HALT. We work only with the number 1 companies in the region, and we are working with the most senior people in those companies. We do not want to, no, I won't say we don't want to work with other companies, but we recognize the value that if we work with the best companies, with the most senior people, and if we try and target the most difficult problem, then our students will have to really raise themselves up to the highest level of performance. And when they do that, they feel proud about what they did, and it's great for their resumes, and it's great for looking for jobs going into the future. This is a story many students continue to tell to their classmates 3 years later. What they did.
Yes, as someone that comes from Latin America, what's the benefit that I will get from the ALP? Is there a Latin America focus, or what benefits do I get from the ALP rather than an internship, for example?
So that's great. So this year, we are going to start looking at a way to try and attract some more of the international companies to participate from Latin America. In the past, we made a rule that we wanted to make sure that these companies were within 20 miles of HALT. So the students could go to the building and come back. So now we're looking at finding ways of partnering with Natura in Brazil, which is the most innovative company in the world in terms of skincare and body care products. We're thinking of going back to Samex in Mexico to see if they would like to do this program with us. We're thinking of working with ETH, which is the world's biggest sugarcane refinery into ethanol energy in Brazil. So we are looking at Latin America to see if we can engage with them, whether it's Havaianas, who will want to work with us, or Vale. But the challenge of coordinating this is the logistics of distance. But with distance learning, we are finding ways to solve that. So it is going to have Latin focus in there. But one thing I want to emphasize with everybody here, our education is supposed to allow you to go global. So the skills we're trying to teach you are supposed to translate themselves across the world. And the way you will interact with people is the common language we'll offer you. First, English is a common language. The Chinese person speaks to the Indian person, to the Italian person in English. So English is one of the common frameworks. And then on top of that, we're using business frameworks of common language. And then on top of that, we put the complexity of teams. You will never get a better experience or a worse experience simultaneously of working with people who are different than you. You'll be working with people who are very rigid, the Scandinavians, in timelines and schedules. And the Latins will come and say, well, why are you getting stressed out about it? That's not so important. Right? And there'll be tension on that. You will have people who are going to say something, and their body language will say something to you which says yes, but they may be saying no to you. And you don't understand the way they talk to you, and yet they're not being unreasonable. It's just you don't understand the body languages. And you need to learn that. You'll get experience of being wrong again and again. But over time, you will have the best experience of talking to anybody and interacting with any teams globally. So I want to emphasize, as Latin Americans are going global. Samex is going global, Braskem is going global, Bungi is going global, Embraer is global. And the future of the world is countries like Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, and others who are going to go global with their own global stories. And hopefully the students we bring in are part of that story.
Talking back to those companies that have participated already, what's the feedback they're giving you regarding the HALT students? What are they saying about the diversity and those teams that you're putting together?
Okay. So I think that's a great question. I mean, first and foremost, this is just a picture of the student teams who compete in the ALPs as an example. And in each of the pictures that you pull them forward, when they actually declare who the winners are, what we get unanimously across the board, right, across the board of every company we work with, is this: I have never been exposed to a more international and diverse group of students who were able to generate ideas that we could not have even imagined, because we are such a US-centric, Europe-centric company or Middle Eastern company. So we've got such a diversity, great ideas, and the can-do nature of the whole student body. There's something special about the whole student body. They roll up the sleeves and they get things done. They may resist and they may fight a little bit, but at the end of the day, they get things done. And there's something about can-do, which is kind of the characteristic of the whole student body. And the clients see that. Right? So the clients are happy about it. But the real thing is, as you can see on the pictures and all the clients want to be standing in the center of these teams and saying, this was the team I took, I managed, I worked with. I'm very proud of having done this project. And then, this is the question of the reaction of the clients of the ideas the students provide. 20% of the student teams kind of blow up. They blow up internally because of dysfunctionalities of people. Statistically, 1 out of 5 teams is not going to do very well. But because we offer 5 teams, one of the other teams or the 5 teams has a breakthrough. The client says, holy cow, I never imagined that idea, thought of that idea, and that's really cool, and we should think about doing something with that. 1 of the 5 business plans for each client tends to be a breakthrough. Then the other 3 business plans typically are things that they might have thought about and they haven't done, or they're doing and they don't want to talk about it. It's a secret. And they're like amazed how the students figure these things out. So in a span of 8 weeks, our students are able to basically unravel all the market dynamics, the competitive dynamics of that company, the competition, the industry, and basically through Google searches, through interviews,